What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this video, we have the Dutch are avoiding this American trap. Before we dive in, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to smash that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up. I want to see what the trap is that they looking out for.
So now, back when I was living in America, something always felt off. No matter how much money I saved, no matter how hard I worked, and no matter the progression I made in my career, something always felt off. I always felt stuck. And if I'm being real, I think I finally know why. I think I know what it is. And I also think that it's gonna rain. Jeez, look at them clouds. And now, my first time out of the country was back when I was living in Atlanta. I was trying my hardest to finish up college. I also had 2 jobs along with a part-time job as a segment producer. I ended up meeting a German girl that I fell for, but she wanted to go back to Germany. And that's pretty much how I ended up going to Germany. Even though things didn't work out between her and I still went, and when I got back, something was different. And I do mean this in the best way, because once I was able to experience what I experienced, it's hard not to unsee it or forget about it. But yeah, here I was back in Atlanta, continue working, continue grinding, continue going to school, trying my best to finish up college, with the big goal of leaving Atlanta and going to LA to work in television. And now with me working so much as well as going to college, something felt off. Then this was something that I could never explain, but this was the first time that I really felt that something was off, and I knew something was off. But I pushed on, and I finally finished college, and then I moved to LA, and it's almost like I was starting over. I was working, I was interning, and then I had multiple jobs, and with all that leading to me finally getting my big break, working full-time with benefits in having a career in television. And now after I got settled with the full-time job, the dream job, I went ahead and quit my other jobs, because I did have multiple jobs, even when I got my full-time job working in television.
I just gotta give this man his flowers before we go any further. The grind that this man had is legendary, because I always told myself, if necessary, of course you're gonna work because you gotta survive. I never wanted to work more than one job. Didn't even want to work one job, but I gotta survive, gotta work and do something. But multiple jobs, him doing all of that, going to school, jeez Louise, I tip my hat to people who grind like this, because I just don't have that sort of grind in me.
A feeling that you can't shake. Like, I made it, finally, after all those years.
Yeah.
I freaking made it. So yeah, I quit these other side jobs, focused on one job because it felt like enough. And what I ended up doing was I started traveling again. And no matter where I would go, whether it was the Netherlands or the UK or even Thailand, Germany, or even Korea, there was always something not right when I came back. And what's crazy was, it wasn't just the noticeable difference between the quality of life of what I had in America versus what I've known and experienced others to have elsewhere.
Yes.
That wasn't it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a huge, huge part of it.
Yeah.
But it was just I would say it was about 70% of the pie.
Okay.
The other 30 was something that I never knew how to explain until last week.
Okay.
Because you see, throughout all this time between traveling and working, I was also progressing. I mean, pimp, I was going ham on the job. I went from an assistant to a coordinator, then from a coordinator to producing on the side and coordinating, then producing and writing and editing, which also led to me going on shoots, which was amazing. And then on top of that, I was actually pretty good with my money. I was solid. I didn't have a bunch of credit card debt. I didn't need much. The most expensive thing I bought was my NSX. That was the most and last thing that I really ever wanted. All the other stuff was just noise to me. Oh no, it's raining like a mug, raining like a mug.
That was a very, very nice car in my days. But I feel him. So far, what we got is my guy was a grinder, absolutely grinded it out, reached his dream job, and That feeling of you made it, all those years of blood, sweat, and tears of doing meaningless jobs, of just grinding to get to that point. You made it. And I'm sure that definitely was an amazing feeling. But you also have to hear what he said earlier when he said, right, he moved to Germany for a girl, didn't work out. But when he came back to the US, something just didn't feel right anymore. Right? Something in his spirit was telling him, yeah, this ain't where we meant to be no more. This ain't, we're not meant to be here. That's crazy. All right, keep it going. Keep it going.
Dang.
He was a terrific guy. Exactly the person you thought he was.
My man had to duck under here for a bit. At least I'm right next to this little car right there. Look at that little car. Man, that little car is sauce. But look, I don't say any of this to brag or anything like that. What I'm saying is, me and my wife were doing well. I mean, she was killing it with her career. I was killing with my, it wasn't like we were struggling. We weren't struggling. But I'm not gonna lie, even though we weren't struggling, every time something major came up, we would have to make adjustments, reevaluate things, sometimes even dip into our savings. And I'm mostly talking about medical emergencies or looking to buy a house. All right, things calming down. I think we're gonna go for it. We gotta get to a cafe. But yeah, a good example of this was actually when I ruptured my Achilles tendon. And I mention this a lot because it's such a great example. When I ruptured my Achilles tendon, I had really, really good solid coverage. And still, out of pocket, end up paying over $10,000. Like, out of pocket.
And he's paying $470 a month for health insurance. You're not hearing $470 a month. And he still had to pay almost $15,000 out of pocket. That is predatory and disgusting.
With the need of going to a physical therapist 2 to 3 times a week, which was also then another $275 each visit, it really was getting a bit ridiculous. Which brings me to what I learned literally last week and what I've been feeling and why the writing was on the wall the whole time. Because even though my wife and I were killing it, I mean killing it in LA, killing it in our careers, doing well with money, to the point that we can afford like pretty much anything we wanted, we could get. Any kind of consumer good, we could afford. But when it came to the things that we needed though, that's where it got tricky. But yeah, this is exactly what I was feeling. Even throughout the jobs that I had in Atlanta, they didn't seem like enough. As well as even starting a career off and getting progressing, getting promoted and making more. I just kept hitting this wall and I could not afford the things that I needed on a regular basis. Because look, no one plans to get hurt, no one plans to get sick. And also too, people wanna buy homes. People wanna be able to afford where they're living. But when those things are completely out of reach to the point where you're getting priced out every year, and I mean like for real, like the prices of homes were like doubling every year. That's what it felt like. So while I'm over here saving all this money to buy a home, I'm getting priced out every time I actually go look to buy a home. And honestly, the writing was on the wall when I went to Germany. After I saw how people lived there and my experiences there, and when I went back to Atlanta to finish doing what I needed to do, it like blew my mind.
Not only crazy, and I will say again, absolutely right, bro. And not just like rental prices too. My days. I think of when I was in college, we're talking 2016, 2017, me and my bro for a 2-bedroom, we're paying like $675 a month. Literally, I guarantee, I don't know for sure, but I will guarantee you if I were to go back to that 2-bedroom today in 2025, I am at the very least paying $1,000. At the very least. I'm gonna say it's gonna be around 1,200, and that's a good deal. But at least 1,000. Yeah, it's just it's so expensive, and we're not just talking about rent. We're talking about groceries. We're talking about retail, like clothes. We're talking just to survive. Just the cost of living is just constantly rising here in the U.S.
Because of the quality of life was better, but because they can actually afford what they needed. Because you see, while the things and the stuff that we want are pretty cheap and affordable, the things that we need, like the essentials, are getting more and more expensive. It's the biggest reason why everybody can get the latest iPhone but can't afford an emergency. Why people have BMWs but can't afford rent. These things are getting higher and higher to the point where people can't afford to get sick. And that is the finesse. That's what I've been feeling all these years that I could not quite put my finger on. Because on the surface, everything looked cool. I could afford all the stuff, but I was being priced out on all the essentials, all the things that I actually needed. And yeah, that's what I mean, man. That's what I've noticed, and it trips me out every time I think about it. Like, every time I think about, like, just consuming items or consuming goods or buying clothes, shoes, anything, like, I could afford all that stuff. Yeah. But when it came to the things that I needed, that's where it was a stretch. And that's where most likely I had to, like, either go in my savings or dip into my credit card. And then on that note too, something else that Americans have to kind of waste money on is cars. Because Americans have to depend on cars, they have to spend money on cars. And again, pimpin', this ain't everywhere, but a lot of Americans have to have a car. That's just a fact. And that in itself is a trap, because then you need a car. So if something happens to your car, you basically can't go to work. If you lose a car, you can't go to work. If you can't go to work, you can't get money. And then this loop just keeps, it just keeps going. And I hate to say this too, but it's gotten so bad now in the States that a car is an essential that people cannot afford. It's right up there with education, healthcare, housing, and freaking then the car. And then
Bro, God, the more I'm listening to the video, the more I'm ready to pack my bags and get up out of here, bro. Because again, yes, I mean, we're talking about no issues. Car giving me no issues right now, but when I think about just car note and insurance alone, we're already talking about $600 for the car. That's not including gas. It's not including oil changes, maintenance, car wash. It's not including any of that. It's $600 a month for the car right now. Like, and the car's 5 years old. And I just looked on my page and said I paid like 54%, bro. It's 4 years old, but by the time I pay it off, I don't have to buy another car. I will have driven it into the ground at that point. I'll have to buy another car. And so, like he said, you get stuck in that freaking loop.
something else that's kind of getting up there is food prices. Like, holy cow, a friend of mine just came here last weekend. We were hanging out, me, her son, and then my kids and my wife. She was telling me how it's almost getting unaffordable for groceries. Like, pimping, this is something that I mentioned before every time I go back to the States. Even in cheap states like Michigan and Florida, groceries are ridiculous. And also too, convenience and fast food is even going up like ridiculous amounts. So people can't even afford those anymore. As a matter of fact, I was actually recently watching a Johnny Harris video, and he was talking about the American dream and basically how is it possible for people today to earn more than their parents? Sadly, the answer is no.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff is cheaper, but when it comes to the things that we need, they're just way too expensive compared to when our parents were our age.
So, but let the older generation tell that this generation is just lazy. They don't want to work for anything. No, we're not lazy, bro. Literally, we're getting paid the same wages back in y'all's day. And the cost of living is at a ridiculous price. Everything is designed to break us. Like, in today's age, literally, like I graduated college in 2017. Had I graduated college in 2025, I for a fact would have had to live under my dad's roof for another couple years. Literally, because it's just too ridiculous. I would have had to live under his roof for another couple years. And that's just the difference in 8 years. So imagine what a 2-3 decade difference of, like, I guess Johnny Harris went over. I need to watch that video.
If you were born in the 1980s, you're now an adult in the 2010s, and it looks like, for the median earner, the majority of us will earn the same or less than our parents.
It's a really good video. I highly recommend it. I will try to link it down below. It is really good. Johnny Harris he be on that sauce. But yeah, man, I highly recommend checking out this video. We did get our Skyppuccino, and we got a cookie. Pimp, they already getting points for me. Look, go ahead and get down that cookie. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
every time I try to leave, it starts raining.
But you ain't going nowhere.
Maybe I'm selfish.
Oh man, it finally stopped raining. Man, I was waiting for like 10 minutes because it'll sprinkle and then it would just start just calming down, man. And I'm just trying to finish the video. But yeah, I want to get back on point. I think that I do think that it is a trap. I could just never put it into words, but it was just the simple fact of things that you want are cheap and things that you need are crazy expensive pretty much says it all. But yeah, man, I think it took me forever to realize this, and I finally figured it out. That was the thing. That was the ceiling that I was hitting when I was back in the States. No matter where I went, I just kept hitting this ceiling, this wall. And you know, I think a lot of Americans have hit this same wall and felt this same way. They just didn't know what it was because on the surface, it looks like you're doing okay. I mean, you can afford just about anything you want. But then you have an accident or something happens, and that's when you get hit, like, you get like slapped in the face with it of like, nah, you ain't got it like that. Dang, I picked the wrong day to go for a long walk.
Oh, everything.
Look at all the people with them umbrella.
God, it's like literally on and off so much. It seems like stop, start, stop, start.
Dang.
Well, as a matter of fact.
And it gets to the point where next thing you know, you're taking out loans, you're using credit cards, and the bills just keep piling up because you got hurt or something happened to your family, or you decide to go to school, or you decide to have a baby, because a lot of people aren't having kids anymore because of that reason. Childcare is expensive, health insurance is expensive, having a baby is expensive. And then now when you go back to the States, it feels like everything's expensive. Like, it is crazy expensive over there. And I do have to super say this, but it is not perfect nowhere. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
It's not perfect nowhere. For example, there's housing crisis like in a lot of different countries. But like a lot of American, I gotta admit, I was pretty distracted by the things that I can't afford, which is mostly just a bunch of stuff that I didn't need. But hey, look, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm tripping. I'm just putting it out there and I'm just super saiyan. But now, in the meantime, go ahead and check this video out right over here. Go ahead. Man, this guy all up in my grill. But yeah, go ahead and check that out. Won't call it. Look, it's free 99. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Gotta do it for the free 99. But I absolutely love watching Sky videos, and I think he's just hitting the nail on the head so much. The essentials here are ridiculously priced, and so yeah, you can get some wants, but just covering needs right now is just it's a ton over here. Yeah, there's a ton over here, and it's not getting any better. It's continuously getting worse, and I don't know. I don't know. I might have to leave this country, dog, if it gets any worse, because I can't afford to live here. That's all we have. If you guys happen to enjoy, don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, check out the next, and I'll see you guys next.